So welcome to Point of View series. Good evening, everyone. Tonight is our 53rd episode. My goodness, right? And okay, perhaps for those who are new, the Point of View series is basically a live online talk show where we invite guests to share their knowledge, experiences, and wisdom or perspective with our audience. And Monday episode, as usual, is about men's brief. And nothing to do with underwear as usual. The series will talk about matters that are not usually discussed or openly talked about men's issues or challenges. Special
Oh no, oh
tonight,
no.
yeah, and nothing to do with Omar's and Hassan's undergarment, all right? Yeah, and special for tonight, as you can see on the screen, for the second time on Point of View series, but first time on Men's Brief. As you can see, we have Mr. Hassanuddin Saidin. Thank you so much, Hassan.
Oh, thank you for inviting me back.
Yeah,
It's
and
been almost 3 months to the day because it was 20th March. Today is 17th August, so almost 3 months.
time flies. Time
Yeah,
flies, right? And yeah, well, let me also again and again reiterate the purpose of Point of View series is basically to enlighten each other and hopefully along the line of getting the life bulb moment so that we all perhaps could act upon for the betterment of ourselves and others surrounding us. Okay, special on Men's Brief, I would like to share the big picture thinking around the session. We would like to convey the idea around insight on how men might think, and therefore we women we know how to understand them, not control them. All right, and then also the session is to send some form of messages on to all men out there. If you're facing men's issues, rest assured that you are not alone. There are others who might be also facing the same issue, right? So without further ado, let's introduce ourselves. Okay, maybe let's start with Omar. Introduce yourself, Omar.
yes. Hi, everybody. Good evening. If you've been following us, welcome back. Like Jack said, this is our 53rd episode, so we're past the midpoint. We're pretty happy about that. Yeah. So I call myself a conversation coach, and that um, uh, came about because when I was in corporate, I noticed that conversation was a key skill that would propel people forward or help hold them back. So when I left corporate to do training, I started to focus on communication skills and helping people develop the confidence to speak up in English and how to articulate the ideas better. And I've been um, a willing student, if you can call it that, in studying how people communicate. So I watch a lot of videos, I listen to a lot of speeches, or just people communicating on air to see what makes them better communicators. Yeah. So let me just pass this on to Hassan.
Yes.
Okay, the last time I was here 3 months ago, I gave a similar short introduction, just like Omar. But if I may, can I have your permission to give a longer introduction?
Sure.
And hopefully the viewers too will give me that permission. I can see at least one name there, Lavender, Lavender. How do you pronounce the word?
Lavender.
Lavender tequila. Tequila is right, right? That's a nice name. I hope Lavender and the rest can say yes or something, giving me permission to give a longer introduction. Okay, Hassanuddin Saidin is the name. Uh, so the short name is Hassan. But what do I do now? Well, I might go with the label. Recently, I changed in my LinkedIn profile that I'm a guiding light for learners. So that covers about, yeah, the things that I do, like coaching, facilitating, training, or even speaking. So this has been a journey of 5 years. I'm right now at the stage of being clear and confident of where I am in being the learning guide, or the guiding light for learners. Like I have coached confidently, CEOs, managers, entrepreneurs, all the way to students. And I've helped people of all walks of life, either for free or for fee, through the skills of coaching, training, facilitating, and speaking. So pretty happy, very happy, because in the context of the family, for example, this house, we've been living here for about 30 years. We built this house, designed our house, and had it constructed. I have one wife, Marcilla, and children, two children plus one. Let me explain. Hannah is in her 30s, so is Hadi. So there's a daughter and a son. So the plus for them would be Hannah is married, so they are adults. Hadi is married, and whoa, the bonus is Hadi has two sons, so I have two grandsons. And the plus factor in the family is we also have a sister of Masila, sister of my wife, about 15 years difference from Hannah and Hadi, but it was from another mother. So technically, she's a sister of Masila, but she is also an adopted daughter of mine. So she's in her 20s already. They're doing well. Hadi, the second one, is in Penang, working for an American multinational. His wife is a consultant in the IT industry. The kakak, or the elder sister, Hannah, whoa, she is married to Rizal, who is an accountant and auditor in a big company in Malaysia. But Hannah herself, her specialty is biotechnology, sciences, and she's now business development manager for a German industrial chemical company. So the third one, Amina, who is in her 20s, she teaches or she works in a nursery for infants and kids. So we're all adults now. Just Masila and I are left in this empty nest. So I converted many of the rooms. For example, this used to be Hadi's bedroom, which is now my office. Yeah. So things are good. Yeah? The family has been gelling well together over the last 5 years. Problems come, problems go, problems arise, problems are solved. We do lots of events and activities. In the extended family would be the center of the universe, where extended family will come for parties, birthday parties, and whatnot. So in my professional life, I'm pretty focused now. I know where I need to go. So it's a life of, yeah, nice pace. The dream that I wanted to have, it has arrived to this level. Am I rich? Well, rich enough. Yeah. But it wasn't always this way, though. Back 5 years ago, when I left corporate, um, what am I gonna do? Just before my final month in my last corporate position, and I'd been serving in corporate for more than 30 years, a few companies, I said that, because of my nature, why don't I become a trainer? So I called up Jeffrey Tan, a colleague of by now 17 years. Hey Jeff, boleh cari makan? Can I make a living out of this? And Jeff says, yo bro, I've been doing this for a few years and you get by, man. You can. But let me bring you to another friend of mine to give you better advice. Who's that? Let's go to Juara. So we went to Juara, who is Rosihan Juara Baharudin. He too with me, we'd known each other by now for 17 years. And he said, hey Hassan, good to see you, but you want to be a trainer, but I see that you can be a trainer, you can be a coach, you can be a facilitator, you can be a speaker, you can be an author. Wow. Unless people tell us, we may not know our talent. So I felt good, but I felt confused. What am I going to do? So I went on to understudy Juara. Yeah, bless the man. Yeah, there were lots of learnings I had with him, especially in training and coaching and facilitating, and muddle and struggled my own way in the first few years. That's it. It was a struggle because I was about to become a statistic. What do I mean? people of my standing having come out of corporate, we might have, in Malaysia we have the Employee Provident Fund or EPF, which is the mandatory savings. The statistics says, the EPF people said this, they see that many people would get broke from the savings of EPF within 3 to 5 years. And at first I thought, nah, that's not me. I have lots to do. I can supplement my savings with more income. But one of the first things I did for getting support from family, I go to Rizal. Remember, he's an auditor accountant. He does the spreadsheet. He's like my financial planner and advisor. Papa, the way that your lifestyle is going now, you're gonna get broke in 3 years, Papa. Hmm. So we said we could make some adjustments, but the worst or the best case I could see with that trend of the first couple of years of income versus expenses was I might go broke in 5 years. So why is this? Coming out of corporate, we thought that we are successful in that line. But now, being a solopreneur, entrepreneur is a whole different game that actually I was out of my comfort zone. I was going to be broke, worst or the best case, 5 years. And what will I do then? Do I sell this house? Do I, worst case, I could get my adult family members, my children, to support me. Oh no, no way, man. The man's ego. How can this man of 30 years corporate be supported by the family members if I get broke? No, no, no. So I wasn't focused. Juara said 5 things to do. I had talent too. I was dabbling in all. I was seeing that my income was less than my expenses. So that prophecy of 5 years getting broke was indeed coming true. But why should this be? I'm supposed to be a great corporate man with great project management, strategy, having learned all that in business and in corporate. I was very efficient. Omar knows this of me. I'm so structured. I ascribe by this David Allen called Getting Things Done. By then I was an 8-year practitioner. I was very efficient in time management and whatnot. But here's the problem, efficient or effective? So was I being efficient doing the wrong things that I could get broke 5 years on? So it seemed. I was being very efficient, not knowing whether the things I was doing was focused enough, right enough, getting me to that destination that I want to be financially free even 5 years after corporate. Then a friend of mine, in getting support, not just family support, I also have Joara as a support, Omar as a support, Jaklin as a support, family members as support, friends as support. One of the friends who was a GTD, Getting Things Done trainer with me, he is Cyril Jegu, an international man, a Frenchman living in Hong Kong or Philippines or Australia or UK. I can track where he is. He said, Hassan, there's another way of doing longer term planning. Have you heard of doing it in a system called Best Year Yet? I said, no. So go try it, Hassan. So I bought this book 6 years ago. It's browned out now. Meticulously followed the worksheets that I found in it. And now there is a sense of direction. Now there is a way to avert that 5 year being broke. Cyril, being the good man he is, Cyril Jagu said, Hassan, let me coach you. Do you know, Hassan, what you did in the worksheets? You could put it in an app. Huh? There's an app for everything, Hassan. So he introduced me to the web app. I transcribed my entries into that, such that Hassan, he says, with this app, we can help you monitor yourself better, because it's not just a one-time plan. You got a destination. How are you going to be monitoring it? So Cyril said, let me be your coach. Ad hoc, I won't charge you anything for it. You better follow this system, Hassan. I did better than that. I not only followed the system, I signed up, for being a coach of that system. So I went through a 5 6 month 3 4 months period of online, being mentored by a very senior certified best year yet coach. Her name is Jeannie Charbonneau. So not only now I can live the system, I could also help people with the system. So I did better than just getting help from Cyril. Cyril was pleased, and after my training and after having become a certified coach, I went on to implement the system year in, year out, year in, year out. So it's been 5 6 7 years of implementing that system of best year yet. And not only that, I hired Jeannie, my trainer, to do that reflection with me every month. So the success has been because from being a ship that is very efficient, the engines are running fine, to now a ship with a direction and having a plan every year, that every year is a best year. When I start the year, it may be the best year yet, but at the end of the year of every 5 years, every of the 5 6 years, it has been better and better and better. So every year is a best year for me. So with that, that has what has made me become at peace with myself, knowing the directions that I wanted in 5 years has been achieved. The directions that I want the coming year, I know, and I'm focused, and I do monthly reflections. I do quarterly discussions with my wife, and we know where we're going. That's the other part of family support. I not only also provide the support to my wife, but even to my kids. There could be, I wouldn't call them formal coaching sessions with my skills, but I would use elements of coaching in my interaction with them. For example, with my wife, we'd go on quarterly retreats, just doing reflection and planning for the past period and for the coming period. So that keeps us going. That is me providing support, as well as later Omar and Jack. You will see that me providing support to the family is in comparison of me receiving support from the family, is less. Yeah, receiving is more than giving support. So receiving support has also made me successful. I get more support than give support. So that's a long introduction that I got your permission to tell. Thank you for your listening.
Oh, wow, that's really impressive. And I sort of like know a bit about those, but not in detail. And tonight I got to know more of Hassan. Yeah, but let's also go in depth about on our topic for tonight. So perhaps to start on this, over to you, Omar. You are muted, Omar.
Yeah, that was a connection breakdown earlier. That was a good prelude to our topic, Hassan. When Jack and I discussed this topic, which is about the importance of family support, and the first person we thought about was Hassan. And I think the background Hassan gave about his background, his family background, is a good is a good canvas to work on right now, right? So we wanted to talk to Hassan about this because Hassan has a way of rallying his family together every now and then, as he, every family has things that they go through, and what Hassan does is he doesn't leave it to chance. He actually regularly meets with them, like a corporate guy in a way. He regularly meets with them, and he has sessions with them. And the other side of it is also that knowing Hassan, when you have issues, you also turn to your family for support. So he goes both ways. He gives support at the same time. He also seeks support from his family. So I think the first thing we want to understand is to have Hassan share with us some of his best practices that he does with his family. Because I have to admit, I don't do what he does. I don't think most men do what Hassan does, and I just think that it's a very interesting thing for us to listen to what Hassan does with his family to keep them on an even keel, so to speak. Yeah, Hassan. So maybe you can share with us what are some of the practices that you do. There's two parts that I mentioned. One is when you seek help, and the other one is when you provide help or counseling, right? So let's start with the part where you provide that counseling first, provide that support first, right? And then we go on later on when you seek help. I think that's quite a common thing when somebody needs help, they turn to their wife or their family. That's quite common. But having regular sessions with the family is something that I've never really come across. Just like recently, you had a couple of months back, you had a session somewhere in Selangor, right? By the resort, at the resort, you guys had a family get together and you went through some coaching stuff, some brainstorming stuff. Tell us about that. Yeah.
Thank you, Omar. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Let's go back to something else before we go to what I do and how I do it. It's got to do with why am I doing all this? The big why. The simple reason is for me, even in my background, I came from a family of 8 siblings. My wife came from a family of 8 siblings too. So being in a family environment and regarding family as the center of the universe is given. So it is so important that the family be a strong unit. So we believe this, I believe this, and I'm sure there are enough opinions out there to say that the family is the central unit to make the whole community work, to make a state work, even a nation work, or the world goes round and round and round because of the basic unit of the family. So it's something that until I say it, I could be a fish in the water, not realizing I'm in the water. But I'm saying it out loud. There's nothing like family that makes every one of us in my family strong. Whether they were still kids, that I and my wife provided a lot, or now that they're adults, that it is almost equal, giving and taking and receiving. It is the family unit that that becomes the foundation of our behavior, my behavior, outside into the companies I work with, the community I deal with. So that's an important start. But when you say my role, and especially in the context of men's brief, my role, especially in the early days when the kids were small, is actually, I don't know what percentage it is. There could be some percentage that I'm the lead role player in providing the support to the rest of the immediate family. There could be my wife playing the lead role, that then I become the follower role, or there could be joint roles of equal responsibility. Uh, that helps you understand that in the early days, providing the role play from my side of providing is pretty easy, pretty traditional. It's the financial support, for example. Yeah? I was the breadwinner because my wife, after having spent 10 years of working, we just saw fit that she stopped work because there are enough problems of trying to get helpers, sending to nurseries, and kindergartens and halfway out, or transition centers. So we decided after her 10 years of work, she will be the one, She spent years driving the kids to work, or part of the part of the role will be, if I'm going to work, I send the kids to work. But this is common. But even when we do stuff with the kids, for example, they have their activities, extracurricular activities on weekends or night tuition. What was 100% was, it was joint. It doesn't have to be that I send them to music school alone or Masila sends them to music school alone. It was 99.9% that we sent them together in the car. Uh, the only times that we don't do that is because I'm at work. But at other times when we both are available, the importance of that family unit meant we do it together. So that's an example of joint responsibility and joint provision. But as they grow older, the provision of support changes. So if, like you said, that the kids are big and they are already earning their income, uh, Omar was asking or saying that hinting that I was also providing consultations or counseling to my kids. Not really, and somewhat really, because uh, you cannot put jargon into it. Once you put jargon like counseling, consultation, coaching, then then I would be going as if I'm wearing a coach's hat. Uh, So I like the elements of coaching as a phrase, which was introduced to me by our good friend Juara. When we do such stuff, the other equivalent example are managers and leaders in company. They are not certified coaches, but they better have coaching elements, skills of coaching elements to work with their direct reports. So similarly for a parent, yeah, I would say I would have used coaching elements. So this could be, some things like Hadi, let's have a regular lunch once in 2, 3 weeks, especially when there are matters arising. So meticulously, yeah, I would stick to the schedule then. There are things that Hadi the son could discuss together with Mama and Papa, but there are things that, hey, this is man to man, so I'd have a separate lunch with him. And if there are issues and matters arising that I need to address with my daughter, I would have that couple of lunches. And when we do talk, rest assured, Omar, I don't become a coach, with a coaching methodology. We are intelligent enough to adapt questioning techniques and listening techniques and
So,
suggesting
so are
techniques.
these appointments as on a regular basis or on an ad hoc basis or as and when it arises?
It depends. If there are bigger events or bigger issues to look into, then they become regular to a certain point of 3, 4, 5 meetings. But if things have subsided and things are normal, then we meet each other just at family events. Yeah. So that's with the children. Uh,
Okay. Um,
but I think you were interested also. Sorry, you were going to say something, Omar.
yeah. So coming back to that question of you putting, getting the family together, and then you were running some kind of a session with them. Um, Perhaps you could share that with us because that uh, piques my curiosity. What is it that you guys do there? Are you planning a family occasion, or were you addressing some family issues, or are you just planning forward? Well, what is it that you guys do?
Well, let me take the example of me receiving support. Yeah, just like anybody, there could be issues, problems, decisions to be made that, if I think alone, I may not be wise enough. Like I said earlier, I also have a support system of Omar, Jaklin, Juara, this friend, that friend, this colleague, or someone I know in France or someone I know in Australia. But there is nothing like, in the end, because the family unit is a central unit, the biggest decisions I need to make in my life, I have a term for that. I have a family council, COUNCIL. It's a council, and this council doesn't have to meet formally, but we need to have a platform or a situation that we discuss together. So there had been times that in the last 5 years, especially, when I needed to make course correction or changes in my career, which affects income and affects my day-to-day life, I would convene. It could be over dinner meeting, and hey guys, this is what Papa intends to do. What do you think? So for me, receiving support of big decisions in my career, I convene special meetings, and it could be one meeting or two meetings. So that has happened about 3 times in the 5 years. But if I need also to receive support and guidance for something that I'm not good at, but yet I'm facing a big problem, the family is one of the support system that I go to, and in fact one of the first support system components that I go to. Here's an example. Remember I said that Rizal is also an accountant, so he's good at spreadsheets and interpolations, extrapolations, and counting and putting things in order. There was once when I was helping a community with building, or in fact completing a mini mosque or a surau, we call it. The community elected me as a residents association chairman, such that they think I'm good enough to be able to run this project, and abandoned surau or mini mosque because the developer went bankrupt. So the structure was up, the roof was up, it wasn't painted, there were no doors, no framed windows, no electricity, the grass was growing wild, and we had one more month to the fasting month of Ramadan, and the community said, let's build this and complete this. So they made me the president or the chairman such that I could lead. So I created the project team of the community members. We collected money, and through my network I managed to collect something like, whoa, I thought it would be 5,000 ringgit, but I managed to get people to donate anything from 200 ringgit to 10,000 ringgit, and it amassed to something like 80 plus thousand. So we finished the project. Yeah, I used all my capabilities of project management, subcontractor management, negotiation, meeting the authorities with my committee members, and wham, when the fasting month ended, the intention of the community to have the Aidil Fitri, the Hari Raya, the Eid prayer was fulfilled. Great. But 1 month later, in the WhatsApp group, they will say, what did Hassan do with all the money? How do we know the 80, 90,000 he didn't embezzle? And then wham came another allegation, an allegation, allegation, allegation. And they called for an emergency meeting of the community. Let's get it out of Encik Hassan. What did he do with the money? I was, oh my God, here I am trying to do good, and all I get is all these allegations. It was so stressful, to the point that, when I get stressed, it went to the point of I almost vomited. I was so sick and stressed with all these allegations. They were saying that, we'll fight till the death and find out what's wrong, where the money went, all that. So what did I do? One of the things I did was, Rizal, can you help me? Masila, my wife, and I said, Rizal, can you help Papa? So he created the report as if it's an audit-free report, simplified it so that, and then he could attend the meeting together with me that I presented to the main committee, to the point that they were either they didn't understand the report, or they found it, all the receipts were in order. Rizal, Hana, myself, and Masila would have spent 3 nights of putting receipts together. He created a spreadsheet, he put a format, and then I presented, and the committee had to accept it. And so I was free of the allegations, and I could then resign from them, from the association, because the mission has been accomplished. The surah was complete. So this is, yeah, without Rizal being there using his skill, I wouldn't have known what to do. I would have probably landed in hospital with depression, because here I am. I've never faced such challenges in my comfortable life. Nobody has slandered or fitnah me, or try to point a gun at me, figuratively speaking, of course. I was so damn depressed and in a hole, but the family came together to help me, and then we got out of that. So that's example from one family member. Uh, what else, Omar? I got carried away there.
Yeah, we're still curious to know what transpired when you hold a session with the family. Yeah, I can appreciate the um, those kind of challenges. It must have been quite traumatic for you when allegations are thrown at you. But and you're fortunate enough to have a family to rally behind you and support you. That's really great. Um, and at the same time, you also counsel the family. During difficult times. And on top of that, you also have regular sessions with them. Am I understanding that correctly? I think you do, right? You
Yep.
have every now and then you get together, and in fact, you have a year-end session with your wife, things like that, where you go off and plan the next year and stuff like that. So tell us about that.
Uh, let me begin with the part with Marcella, my wife. So, like I said, after Cyril Jegu introduced me to the system and I have been using the system, there she was. Hey, our kids are all grown up. I've stopped sending them to school. I don't need to visit them in university anymore. The graduation ceremonies are all done, attended. And she is sewing and doing quilts and doing soap and home improvement projects. And she saw me more focused and said, "Can you help me do that too?" Huh? What? I remember many of my mentors said, "You can never coach your spouse." But she pleaded with me. She said, "No, no, she didn't plead with me. She requested me. "Yeah, I think you're doing something that is more focused. Can you help me get focused?" So it began in 2016, the first year that we, in January 2016, we want to have it. Okay, Hassan came from corporate. It must be an off-site retreat. We went to Malacca, holiday in Malacca, and we sat down and I used the methodology. At that time, I was not trained yet by Ginny Charbonneau. I used the same worksheets at the back of this book with her and helped get through what is it that's holding her back, what is it that she intends to achieve in 12 months' time, and what are some of the action plans. And that was it. So the first year we had our quarterly retreats, Cuti Cuti Malaysia. It was a combination of we need to get out and have a holiday, even if it's a 4 day, 3 night, or shorter, could be 3 days, 2 night. We combine the session as us having a vacation plus a sit down of her reflecting on what she'd done in the past 3 months and what she plans in the next 3 months in reference to the whole year's plan that she had created for herself. So that's fine. So,
Okay,
so
so this is a sorry, Hassan. So is this a recent development, or
it
it
was a
sounds like it's a recent development when you discovered the best year yet
it
practice,
was it was
or
2015.
has this been going? Okay, so it's pretty recent. Okay.
Yeah, I have a question.
2015, yeah, 2015, and in 2016 she began to use the system with my guidance, which debunks the saying that you cannot coach your spouse. So I don't necessarily call it coaching. It's just called helping and brainstorming with her. But that's not the best part.
Right.
Towards the end of 2016, I went to the US for further training certification of the system, such that then I can not just only coach one to one with people, I could do a group of people, of individuals having different goals, but yet in a group setting in a workshop, then they can come up with their plan. And I could provide follow on sessions for them to monitor and implement their plan, get their lessons learned, and readjust and get them to the final year's plan. As well as that, I got certified to be able to do it to a team. A team will have common goals, common mission, common action plans that are done depending on who plays the role in the team. Okay, that's fine. But my wife said, so you can do team planning, yeah? But we are a team, Abang. You and I, we are a team. Can you do our team plan? Let's call it a couple plan. So that was at the end of 2016. In my heart, what? Hey, you are having your own plan. I have my professional and personal plan. Let's stick this way. So I said to her, no, 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 we're not ready. You go on doing your personal plan, and I'll help you another year. We're not ready. Maybe next year. And she was disappointed. But let me tell you the truth. Yeah, man's brief, right? The truth, what? What? If we do a team plan, a couple plan, then I really need to think that joint goal, is it something that I can do too, that I want to? We are fine doing things on our own jointly, undocumented. All the 30 over years of marriage, we were doing things together, but we never documented or write down to commit something that we need to do together. What if that something I want to do together with her is something that I'm not committed to do? Then I need to pretend. Then I need to be. I could have pretended before, but now we're going to put it on paper or type it into the computer and review it every 3 months. Oh no. The truth was, the man in me said, nah, 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 nah. It's not that we're not ready. I was not ready. But Omar, Jack,
Yeah, I have a question for you. Oh, sorry, you continue.
yeah, go on and ask first because I'll continue.
Yes, a lot of your sharing earlier that has been when you left the corporate. Yeah, you mentioned around when you were still working and your wife decided to resign after working for 10 years. What about when before that? When your wife was working and you was working, perhaps also climbing the corporate ladder and achieving your aspiration back then. How was family support had been given you that significant contribution in terms of your well-being, or rather your process of achieving those success back then?
Well, uh, then there were more players. Like I said, there could be institutions like the kindergarten and other centers that would need to take care of the kids. Or there were also a string of pembantu, maids or helpers that we hired, and then they were being not nice to the kids. We had to fire and replace them. So there were a string of helpers also. Uh, so I think that's pretty normal of many families. We went through that. And during that initial 10, 20 years of the rat race, of needing to buy a car, buy a house, upgrade the car, get a bigger house. So there's nothing special about that. But I believe that the decision, especially volunteered by her, that she stopped work, was one of the pivotal moments of our marriage that has allowed us to bring up our kids to the level that they are today. But in the early years, we were doing our best, trying to juggle between having helpers, sending them to centers, getting the extended families help, like brothers and sisters. My mother was still alive then, her mother was still alive then, her brothers and sisters. We needed to pull many helpers from the extended family too. So the extended family is also a very important part, we believe, in the success of the central core family unit. Uh, Up till this day, we celebrate the extended family. When there are birthdays, this house usually becomes the center. We might combine 3 4 people in the adjoining months and have one big celebration. So celebrating the extended family is our way also of giving back for what they provided us in the early years as well as in the ongoing years. We alone as a core family could not have done it alone. We needed to get support from extended family too. But this goes both ways, Omar. The retreat that you said that you described was at Kuala Selangor retreat. This was us. Masila was the organizer because she's the best event organizer in the world, and I was like, I didn't use the word coach. I was like the helper, advisor, getting a couple of sisters-in-law. So this is part of the extended family members. We even help our extended families in their issue resolution. So we are known to not just be a family of our own. We are also known to be giving to the extended family. So in the early years, it was a lot of receiving from them, but in the years that Masila was not working anymore, then we could give back, and up till now, we it is both ways. We help them, they help us. So keep the extended family as part of the strong network of support. Yeah.
Yeah, what I can get from that is really around mutual understanding, um, because well, I know your wife a little bit. For her to have decided to let go her career back then, I think it's the most, like you said, it's the same, exactly this, the point where everything started to become organized, right? So yeah. So Omar.
Yeah, so I think I'm curious now to know how has it been for your family now since you've implemented um, a lot of this, meetings, family meetings. So I suppose your family is closer right now because of that, right? But what are some of the things that you guys discuss? Are you talking about Hari Raya, or are you talking about education for the grandchildren? What is it that you guys discuss?
And on
Okay.
top of that, perhaps I'll also add on some question around that. Because this practice of meeting and having this family discussion, perhaps your kids are very much open in terms of sharing their life, which perhaps if you compare with other family, those
Yeah.
kids will not be openly enough to discuss with their parents. So perhaps something that's happening in your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get to all those answers, but let me take on from what Jack observed. The lesson learned is there must be that understanding, right? So this understanding is based on the foundation that a woman is different from a man and yet equal and the same. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but there are differences of roles that we can play. So, like I already said, Masila is the best event organizer in the world for trips, for vacations, for family events. It's innate in her. So, I give that to her. Yeah? I could be better in some other things, so that she gives it to me. So the understanding is based on what role we play to complement each other. So that there is a need to find and acknowledge and accept. And if I'm not good in event management, so be it. If I'm not good at map reading, for example, when we go on vacations, I don't do the ways thing, the planning of where to go for the sightseeing or interesting places to go to. She does all that. She can know the ways to go and this I don't understand. She says she knows places because she sees things from an aerial view. Once she's gone through roads, she doesn't have to look at maps and ways anymore because she as if she's a bird or a plane. She can see.
Wow.
I don't understand that. So that could be her gift. So when it comes to map reading, those days when we travel to the rest of the world without the GPS, we open maps. It's all hers. Yeah. So what is it that she is better in that I hands down drop my ego and say you do that? I am a follower. Yeah. And what is it that I'm good at, better at, that hands down she will say I'm the follower. So understanding is based on just acknowledging and accepting. If I'm not good at that, yeah, no big deal. And as we raise our kids to observers like that, this kind of role playing, yeah, is Hana better than Adina? Is Amina better or worse? Nah, we have different limitations and roles that somehow in the last, Hana and Adi in their 30s now, in the last 30 over years, somehow we gel and look at what roles to play, and the roles can be leading role, joint roles, or follower role. Just accept. So that openness that you were saying, Jack, includes in this acceptance of we do different things, we like different things, we don't fight over it, but we acknowledge it. And this thing about will the kids be open to me also, to the mama and papa? It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Because if Papa, right now when they are in the 30s, goes to them with difficult decision making issues of changing career or whatnot, even telling all the gory stuff that I needed to go through to make the decisions, or the factors to make the decisions. So that opens the way for them also to be daring enough, to be bold enough to tell their deeper concerns about their life. So that's to get to the openness. If I'm open, if my wife and I are open to them, we don't see why not. We have them also open up to
Yeah.
us, because it's the creation of an open environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I'm trying to get to Omar's question. He's asked twice, what do you discuss? But before that, let me continue the other story. So at the end of 2016, at the early of 2017, I said, "What? You want us to do a couple plan? No way, Jose. I'm not going to be able to commit to what I don't want to do." But since I said, "We'll do it next year," come the end of 2017, as we got into 2018, January 2018, we were closing Masila's 2017 plan, beginning to plan into 2018 for Masila. Whereas mine, I'd done it with my coach. And then I remember I promised her a year ago that we'll do a couple plans. So at that retreat at Jandabai, amongst the forests in the dark of the night, I said, "Remember last year you asked for a couple retreat? We're ready now." So before she catches me and asks me again, I said, "We're ready now, so let's do it." So that Jandabai retreat, we didn't have enough time to start a couple retreat. So a week later, we went to Bukit Tinggi, Coma Tropical, and I went through the same types of questions and whatnot to put it in a couple setting. What is it that we are jointly holding back as a couple? What is it that we want to be different this year? So for the first time in 36 years, we were talking we and documenting it. Horror! It was a massive experience and shock for me. But what I discovered was she was actually in the discussion, giving ideas and coaching me, asking questions about me for the two of us. What shocked me and surprised me, I had underestimated that she is also a coach in her being. There were deep, insightful questions and suggestions she made that made our first couple plan solid. So it wasn't me alone who was a coach. She was jointly coaching me and us as a couple too. Whoa! Once I went through that, why did I not do it 1 year earlier?
yeah.
So it's just that I was holding back. I was fearing. I was egotistic about it.
We
And
should
from
do
then on,
program, that kind of program, open that to public in case they've
u-
experienced that.
upon request, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But
Couple, huh?
Jack, I think we've got a question from one of the viewers.
Right?
I believe Irene is your friend. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, she finds the book interesting, so she wants to know where she can get one.
Oh yeah.
what book? What book, Omar?
The best year yet.
I ordered it from Kino.
So there you go,
You
Kinokuniya.
can get it online. Irene is from Sabah. Kinokuniya has got an online bookstore. You can buy from that bookstore, Kinokuniya. But if you happen to be in KL, you can straight away go to Kinokuniya in KLCC. Answering on behalf of Hassan. Yeah, Hassan, I
Omar.
have this
Oh,
something
uh,
came to me
yeah, go on.
when you were sharing all those practices, best practices that you have. That came from the understanding, or rather, you have something to use. You've learned techniques. You've learned, tools to do that. So I'm wondering, for those who do not have, I mean, couples who do not have, or family do not have this kind of exposure, where can they start? How they can understand each other? I mean, of course, there are many ways to understand each other, but in this context of having family support in achieving what you intended to achieve in life. So yeah, in that kind of context.
Okay. I'm gonna go like I did last time in 3 months ago when I was a guest. Step one. Step one is to jointly create a plan so that you can understand each other better. But there is a step zero. The step zero was what I described earlier. The man, throw away your man's ego that it's hard to work with the spouse. There are things we cannot do together. There are things I cannot commit. So step zero is to realize and even write down and not just leaving it in the head. Potentially, what is it that we can do together, we can commit together, and also be clear about what is it that no way I'm going to do this, such that when you arrive at that step one of planning, you not only have the inclusion list of what we can do together, achieve together, have a certain behavior and attitude together, there should also be an exclusion list. This one I'm not with you there. I don't like rock music. I don't like rock music. Okay, I just like. I don't like Korean drama. Korean dramas. Uh, Go and look for the common things. So when you go to step one, focus on those possibilities. Defocus on those things and be clear that this one really I don't want to get involved. You go and do your girl stuff, or you go and do your man stuff. Your reunion, your school reunion. Thank you. I know it'd be good for me to go, but I get bored. So no. You do your stuff. So let that be part of your personal plan and not in the joint plan. But more often than not, you discover, especially when you're doing it for the first time, just do a few of common things and don't worry about the uncommon things. So step zero is to start talking and seeing which are the areas of common interest and common objectives and common destination in a year from now or 6 months from now. I would advise not to go into 3 year, 5 years. You never know, another COVID or different kind of thing will come that makes your 3 year plan, 3 year intention go to nothing. So just think in terms of 6 months to 12 months. Start the annual planning or the year's plan to be small few items first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's really going back to the fundamental of us understanding each other and finding out what we have in common. Really love that. It's so powerful. In fact, not only in family, but in our everyday life encounters with others, I think that's really the starting point of you getting to be lighter around what's happening around the world, is to understand how we can have that the same level of starting point. So in this sense, is that common interest or common understanding. So Omar, we are at the end of our program, really.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Last one from me. Hassan has been very valuable. I think the what I'm hearing is that if you have this kind of a practice of an open communication, um, culture in the family, it creates not just harmony, but it creates a stronger bond, and within the family, including the extended family. And this is simply awesome. And I think, come to think of it, planning with someone, your spouse or your family, is probably more doable than making your own plans. I mean, I make my own plans and I change them, right? But when you have a group making the plans, you kind of like, um, uh, work off each other to make sure that it works, right? To make sure that
Yeah,
you stick to the plan. Yeah. So
yeah,
that,
you're accountable to someone
oh
else.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. You have
Yeah,
yes. There's
and
expectation.
yeah,
Sorry.
and the weightage around if it's led by the man, or in this case is the husband or the father, it becomes more interesting for everyone to be part of. I don't know, that's what I feel. Because it's like, like let's do this together, and my father is really understanding of me, and that makes it more believable, credible. The
Yeah.
practice is more credible in that sense. So I think for all men out there, I like when Hassan mentioned that, okay, slow down those egos. It's not that we all have it. But at the end of the day, I think it's knowing the direction. And yeah, it's really what they want to achieve at the end of the day, right? So Hassan, perhaps a words of encouragement for all the men out there. Yeah.
Uh, it depends on what background and what we are comfortable with. Because I was trained as a corporate man, went through training, coaching, sorry, trainings on training, trainings on coaching, trainings on facilitating. So you would see me comfortable with using tools like even a flip chart. You know that tropical, Colmar tropical first couple plan that we did together. I even bought a very lightweight flip chart stand and flip chart paper that we did. But this may be too shocking in different situations. If you're used to discussion and writing down on a piece of paper or typing, yeah, the word is go with what you're comfortable with. All these artificial introductions of tools like a flip chart and whatnot, yeah, might just jar the situation that, huh? Are we going to school or are we going to a committee meeting or what? You know, so do it in the most natural way in bed, on the sofa, at a holiday, but a lot time. If you're not so structured like me, that it must be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then we have lunch. Intersperse it. Yeah. So make it natural. Life is not that jagged and structured, but if the intention is for better understanding, better going through the journey together. Notice, don't use the word planning and strategic retreats. Yeah, just find the simple words that do it step by step in your most comfortable way. Then the understanding will come out. But start with the intention that, and like I said, there's nothing like the family being the center of the unit, of the community, of nations, of the world, of the universe. If I begin with that, then I have the intention that to support my mission of doing good, being in service to others, being in service to God, where can I find the foundation? It is my wife and family, and then also the extended family. Plus, afterwards, the friends that I have, like the two of you and the many friends I have all over the world. So
Beautiful.
that's me.
That's really beautiful. All right. So thank you so much, Hassan. And
Thank you.
I'd like to acknowledge our audience and a few viewers, regular viewers here. Salim, thank you, Hassan. Such an honor for you to share your experience with
You're
us.
welcome.
Right? Yeah. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you again soon in our upcoming episode. So thank you,
Bye.
Hassan. Good night,
Good night.
everyone.